Okay, so we're going to do a little more practice with horizontal and vertical lines since our IXL isn't quite working well with that. So if we look over here, we're going to do y equals 1. Okay, so that tells me y is going through the 1. So we find the 1 on the y, and then very simply we're just going to draw a line that goes through that 1. So we can just take this and draw a line through the 1, like so. Okay, and then that is just a y equals 1. Okay, and that is a horizontal. I have a new writing device. I have to learn how to use it a little bit better. Okay, so the y equals is a horizontal line, and we talked about this before, how because this is it rises 0 and runs a lot, the slope is 0. Okay, so really we could have wrote this equation as y equals 0x plus 1. However, there's anything times 0 is 0, so really our resulting equation is y equals 1. Okay, so whenever you have that, you know that's just a horizontal line. Okay, so then let's look at the opposite. If y equals 1 is a horizontal line, then x equals 1. That means on the x-axis at the 1, there's a line that goes through there. Now it wouldn't make sense to draw the x-axis. That's y equals 0 that way, because that's horizontal. Okay, so when we have x equals 1, we just want to draw a line where that every time this line will intersect through the 1 on the x. Okay, so we'll just take this and draw a line straight through there. Okay, now we can label that x equals 1. Okay, we talked about this. When we do the function test, a vertical line says something's not a function. So slope for all vertical lines is an undefined slope. Okay, undefined. Okay, so it doesn't have one. 0 is for a horizontal line, and this is a vertical line. So you might want to take a couple of notes about those slopes. Okay, when we have a horizontal line, the slope is 0. But when we have a vertical line, this is not a function, right? And all linear equations except for this one is a function. So this is not a function. Remember, FCN stands for function. Therefore, the slope is undefined. Okay, so our IXL for this doesn't work. That has something with the Adobe Flash Player. So you can do one of two things for some practice on this. We have a quiz on horizontal and vertical lines on Thursday. So you can either do this practice here. So I have 10 problems that I want you to work on. And you don't have to draw a separate graph for each one of these. If you want to draw it and then label the equation next to it, sort of like how I did here, I drew the line and I said that's y equals 1, so you can tell which line goes with which equation. So you could maybe draw just 3 or 4 graphs and put several of these on there. If you have a computer that's not the Chromebook just seems to be the problem, and you'd rather do it on IXL, you would do S14. Okay, so you've got 2 options here. You can complete these 10 problems and graph them themselves, or if you have a computer that is not a Chromebook, you could do S14 for 10 problems on there. So I'll leave it up to you. You can let me know tomorrow which one you do. So you can either draw these 10 problems out on several different graphs and label them, or if you have a computer that's not the Chromebook, you should be able to use S14 because it's the Adobe Flash Player that seems to be the problem, and the Chromebooks don't use Flash Player very well. However, they're supposed to have that problem fixed by December. So anyway, I hope you have a very spooky night.